Are your kids getting asked the question these days now that we have kids that are graduating and have graduated and are close to graduating, what they're going to do with their lives? Incessant questions about what they're going to do, right?
Nonstop. It's so much
Nonstop.
pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. And so we knew that our kiddo was going to be asked this. Like as soon as people asked what grade he was going into, so we were trying to set him up for success. So we said, if someone asks you what you're going to do, you have to tell them that you're going into mergers and acquisitions. Like anytime anyone asks you what you're going to do, it's just mergers and acquisitions.
Because nobody knows even what that means.
And they just smile and nod. So it absolutely worked. And it's like brilliant. It's like the most brilliant thing. So if your child is getting to that age where they're being asked, set them up for success and just it's mergers and acquisitions. However, I started answering this on my child's behalf too when they were asking me. And I totally messed up the other day. Someone asked me what he's going to do. And I said, oh, he's going into murders and acquisitions. I thought I said it right. You should have seen the look on their face. They're like, excuse me?
Kind of accurate, though. We are celebrating successes today. We haven't done this in a while, but I love going through the Get the Hell Out of Debt group and just checking in on everybody and seeing how everybody's doing. And there are just some major, major things to celebrate in here today. The first one is I want to celebrate Suzanne. Now, she's already in phase 3. You've heard her on the podcast, but she had a brilliant share. She said, I've become the would you like fries with that version of the veggie and egg sales in her community, which I thought was so cute. So, as you might remember, she has the farm. Remember, she was putting farm animals in her.
On Odyssey.
And she was just sharing that she has started to sell some extra eggs when she has extra eggs, but they've got a ton of tomatoes and zucchinis because she's got an abundance of those. So as certain orders would roll in for eggs, she'd be like, would you like some zucchini and tomatoes with that? And people would be like, sure. And then when people were ordering vegetables, she'd be like, would you like some eggs with that? And so that alone like created additional revenue for her, which was super cool. And then the other thing that she was sharing was she was somebody who joined us for Summer Money Camp, which is a little tiny online camp for grown-ups every summer that I run. It's really fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm actually already looking forward to next year because I love it so much. It's a place where people have a ton of progress in a very short amount of time, and then they're able to carry that momentum forward. And so she came to that Summer Money Camp, and she has this area in her home. It's like on her farmstead. I don't even know if I'm using those words correctly. She's probably like,
I
I know nothing about agriculture, Erin. I don't. But she has some space that she had always been considering Airbnb-ing, and she was really getting almost like perfectionist about it. She had an idea in her head of what it needed to look like in order to be Airbnb-able. But what was cool is she just started making progress towards it. I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can price it according to what it is now, and you can refine it and make it pretty as you go. And she just crushed that challenge, got booking after booking after booking, gives people, when it comes to Airbnb, gives them like a farm experience. So people like me who know nothing can book and go and learn and be in this really beautiful environment and learn about chickens and help her cull the tomatoes or whatever it's called when you pluck tomatoes.
harvest. I think we
Harvest.
harvest. We harvest all the things
Harvest.
on a farm.
And it's so cool. And she's made a bunch of additional revenue. So you can see how even in phase 3, you're constantly thinking about resourcefulness in order to increase your net worth. And it becomes fun. It's like almost like a little bit of a game. So we're celebrating her today.
Yay, Suzanne.
Suzanne, we're so ridiculously proud of you.
Ooh, I found one here. Valerie just paid off a credit card this week. She paid off $4,000 on a credit card.
Valerie, we celebrate you. That always feels so good. It's one thing to make payments towards a debt, but when you get that sucker down to zero and you know you're not racking it back up again, congratulations, Valerie. We're super proud for you. This was really cool from Emily. She has a huge win to share. She's on a prescription medication that costs $50 a month, which isn't bad compared to the $3,000 it costs if she didn't have insurance. But she learned in a support group for the condition that she's got that the manufacturer offers a savings card where she can get it for as little as $5. And she wasn't sure what that meant, but she signed up for it. And she just picked up that prescription for $5. And then she goes, booyah, which I thought was really funny.
Sometimes it's just about being a little curious, right? Like going out and actually looking to see what might exist that we can use for discounts, even those coupons that you can get at the grocery store. Have a look at the flyers, use some of those apps that exist, and you can save a couple bucks. But you always say it's the small little things that we do that add up to big differences in the end.
Yeah, it's really cool because there's a little technique that I teach my phase 3ers that goes like this. So if you have the money for something, that's great. But ask yourself, what if I didn't have the money for this? How would I get it?
Mhm.
And sometimes that level of resourcefulness can put a ton of money back into your wealth building and wealth growing. And so you can do that in phase 2 also. Like she just saved herself 45 bucks by using this coupon. That's a big deal. At the end of the year, that's over $500 that she keeps in her pocket versus giving away. So asking yourself the question, okay, even though I have the money for this, what would happen if I didn't? Could I borrow it? Could I rent it for a short amount of time? Pressure washer is the one I always think of. I need a pressure washer 2 times a year. I really, really, really wanna buy one because I love the feeling of power.
I was going to say, what are you pressure washing?
We live in this, like, open areas, and we get a lot of bugs on the side of the house when there's windstorms or rainstorms.
Okay.
So I would take the hose out and I would, like, try and hose them down, and my husband was like, "Are you just watering the bugs?" I'm like, "I think I'm just watering the bugs 'cause their webs and all this stuff, wouldn't get off the side of the house." So I borrow my father-in-law's pressure washer twice a year, and it's great because then I get to see him and visit him and all of that. So that part's really great, but I borrow it. It saves me money, and he loves lending it out because he loves to give me the instructions and reminding me to put it back in the box when I'm done. He's very meticulous,
Uh-huh.
so it's really great. I really wanna buy one, but I only wanna buy one for the same 2 times I would use it
Right.
borrowing his,
Right.
and then this way I get to, like, bake some muffins or cookies or something to send back with him, which, he really likes. So I just think it's that thing of sometimes buying something isn't the answer. Ask yourself, even though I have the money for this, if I didn't, what would I do? And see if there's a way that then you can bring more joy. Now, I know that sounds like I'm taking my pressure wash money and getting rich while I mooch off my father-in-law. I don't want you to be a mooch either. I don't want you to be cheap or stingy or any of that. But I just want you to think in terms of resourcefulness if there's a way that you can do the things you need to do without it taking money out of your pocket. Because there's a lot of people with pressure washers just sitting in their garage. And if you're one of them, you could put it on a website to rent it out to somebody or pay attention to your local neighborhood and see who needs one and see if you can help in some kind of way and earn some extra cash.
That's one of my favorite things that pops up in my community Facebook page is people just sharing resources or sharing their different skills that they have. Everybody has something that they're good at or something that they own that they could share. And so why not just trade services? That's just a brilliant idea.
Do you want more? I know you do. Why wouldn't you want more? More
Or
of this,
what? What do I
more
want more
more of this. Come
of?
hang out in the online course for Get the Hell Out of Debt. The link is in the description. You just got to click it, sign up, and we'll see you in there. Here's something Cassie did, and I talk about this inside the Get the Hell Out of Debt program, and some people are like, haha, that's really cute and funny, and then they don't do it. But props to Cassie for doing it. She finished phase 1.
Mhm.
Her quick and dirty is funded, and she made a nice dent in her debt repayment. She set herself up with a prepaid credit card, so she still uses a card for daily spending, but she's put money on it ahead of time. So it's not like,
Mhm.
it's money she's going to owe later. And then she made the journal that I tell everybody to make called How I Got the Hell Out of Debt.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she posted a picture of it. She put the Get the Hell Out of Debt sticker on the front and it says, How I Got the Hell Out of Debt and Became a Millionaire. And then there's a cute little dog sticker on it and everything. But I tell you to do this so that in your notebook that you're keeping while you're coming to all the live classes or you're watching the ones that are in the portal and you're keeping your notes and you're keeping track of everything. I tell you to do that because what you're actually doing is you're writing a story of your own success. You're authoring your own success story. And what happens for a lot of people is once they get out of debt, they forget. You forget how far you've come. And this will act like a treasure for you to not only look back on and feel proud of yourself for, but to potentially one day show your kids, look how hard we struggled. And I don't want this for you. And that's why when I tell you to open your 401k or your RSP or your ISA, this is why. And like, let me show you actually how hard it was. And so I love that you did it. Cassie, props to you for making the journal. I think that's so cool.
Shannon posted a picture of the sticker that we send out when you finish phase 1. She posted that, so she just got it and she just says, "No big deal, guys, squeal." I love that she put it on her fridge where she can look at it all the time too as a constant reminder.
Now we have to check in with Andrea because she posted this a little while ago
Mhm.
and she was encouraging somebody. She said, definitely go to the podcast, Get the Hell Out of Debt if you haven't already, because usually once a week or every other week, they will have a success story of someone telling their debt free journey. I will be debt free in 2 weeks. Andrea,
Mm.
you're supposed to message us and tell us we want you on the podcast. She said, I started with a seamstress salary. Okay, wait, hang on. If we're not allowed to call them stewardesses, if we call them flight attendants, what's a seamstress? Is it a seam
Sure.
attendant?
A seam attendant.
I don't
Yes,
know. I don't know.
that's what it is, a seam attendant.
I got a second job this week. Even though it's not a high paying job, my two jobs combined have helped propel me so fast. I wanted to do it fast. So I got the job, downsized my life quickly. We call that right sizing. Sold a lot of things, did all kinds of income generating gigs from focus groups to pet sitting. Budgeting was key for me. I'm sorry, one more time, louder for the people in the back. Budgeting was key for me because I became obsessed with creating excess to throw on debt. It's been hard, but weirdly kind of fun thanks to this community. I know we are a weirdly kind of fun community. We
Yeah.
are. So congrats to you, Andrea. If you are debt free, we want to hear from you so that you can tell the story in your own words. I love that.
All of these things that we're reading today are all from our online community. So when you join the Get the Hell Out of Debt program, you get access to this community right away. And as we grow, like this was always a really cool place to be on the internet, but don't you just find that it just keeps getting better?
I think it's because we talk about it. We talk about how awesome it is. So people who are awesome are like, I'm awesome too. I'm going to join it.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah, yeah.
we are an asshole free zone. We just do not have any in there. We wouldn't let you stay in there if you were. So we kick people out quite ruthlessly. Like I, without apology, will just remove somebody from the group if they're being
Yeah.
work. So here's the thing. People sometimes think that means that they have to be positive all the time. Real life happens. But if you're focusing on that, if you're constantly coming up with reasons why your life sucks, you're not going to make it in there. You're not
Mhm.
going to be helping the group because you're not contributing to the success of the group. So we do expect you to add value to the group. So don't be somebody who just takes constantly from the group. You got to give to the group. So tell us something really great that you did or celebrate something. It's a place you can go on the internet for nourishment. And we don't allow promotion or selling or anything like that in there. So if we hear that somebody's trying to recruit you into some kind of cult or some kind of, I don't know what, we will step in.
Mhm.
But what's cool about it is you can show up as you are, imperfect, and feel totally welcome and totally at home because your dreams matter to us and your dreams are welcome here.
So it's not just successes though that people share in here, which we love because if you have accomplished something, we absolutely want to hear about it because we're going to cheer you on, but so is the rest of the group. But you also can put your questions in there. And here's the funny thing is that our team is getting a lot of questions sent to us via email. If you do that, I can guarantee that me or Lynn or anyone else on the team is going to likely reply back and say, listen, Erin doesn't have time to read all of these. And so please post in the group because that's what us as a team wants Erin to do, because that's where you go to read what other people say. And then we want you to be able to share your advice where other people can benefit
Mhm.
from reading it too.
What's cool is when people are in phase 3, we give them a status inside the Facebook group. We give them a
Mhm,
group expert badge so that
mhm.
you know when somebody's answering a question if they're in phase 3 or not. And I think that's really helpful because there's nothing worse than broke people helping broke people with their money. That's not going to get you anywhere. And we use the term broke really lovingly. So if you're listening to us joke about being broke, we don't mean any offense by that. I've been there. We just use it as a term of endearment. It's just a temporary place where you are.
Mhm.
It's like saying you're at the zoo. Okay. You're not going to live there forever. You're just there. You're visiting. Sometimes you sit down on a park bench and you stay a little longer than maybe you need to, right? But it's just a place you visit. There's no offense meant when we talk about that. But what's cool is sometimes I don't get to the questions in time because I'm not in there 24/7, but I can see that a bunch of other people who've gotten out of debt and who we know are good quality people have answered the question in the way I would answer it. So I just leave it alone because I'm like, this person got everything they needed. And sometimes when people are in phase 1 or 2 and they help each other out and they answer it in the way I would answer it, I pop a little trophy emoji in there. People often ask me, like, what are those trophy emojis about? I'm like, well, that means I'm giving this person a reward because that's how I would have answered it. And so it helps people really know when they're on track. that they're really living and embodying the teaching. So I think our friend Sam has gotten like 16 trophies in the last one in that Facebook group. Here's a celebration from Chris. Chris says, I checked in with my budget yesterday. I've also really surprised myself. I've never actually budgeted before. I dabbled once or twice, but I'm updating my spending daily now and updating my net worth once or twice a week. Whenever the credit card companies update something, or if I squeeze money towards the credit card I'm working on, I actually enjoy budgeting. It's having a positive effect on putting a break on some of my spending as I don't want to upset the budget. It's a work in progress. It always is, so good for you. And I've under budgeted in some areas, but this month was the first month I have money left in the bank, and now I can apply that towards the cell that I'm working on. Thank you, Erin. Oh, that's a nice little note about me next. I'll keep
That's
reading.
so funny. You just skip over the nice things that she
Oh,
said about you.
I'm not trying to make it about me. I'm trying to make this about Chris. I just think it's cool that we really do make budgeting fun, and you're in an environment where people who are budgeting are having fun with it. So if it is something you're struggling with, you can post and somebody in there is going to be able to help you. We know that you don't get where you want to go without budgeting. Just imagine if a company like, I don't know, Coca-Cola or Amazon didn't budget. Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't be around, right? But every financially successful company has a budget. Every financially successful person, to some degree, budgets or tracks their money or knows what's going on. And so to pretend that you can get there without that tool, it's like driving your car blindfolded. You might be lucky, you might be able to get where you want to go, but odds are you're going to miss and it's going to be disastrous. So let's make it fun. Let's drive the car with our eyeballs looking through the windshield, and we'll put on some music, might drive through Starbucks, get ourselves a chai tea latte, make the drive really fun, but you have to do it. You've got to be in the driver's seat when it comes to your money.
Congratulations, Chris. You were doing the work. Good for you.
Chanel, definitely on track, paid all bills, all school stuff without dipping into the quick and dirty or her line of credit.
Ooh,
Not even
good.
an option, Chanel. That's not even an option. And she says, and I even have $50 for a date night.
Whoa. And that date night's going to feel so good when you can pay cash for it.
Betty says she sold a chair for $250 while simultaneously opening up space in her living room. I just love that feeling. Don't you just love?
Mhm.
There's nothing like a woman with a redecorated or rearranged living room, you know?
You know, we always feel better when the clutter is gone. Always.
Yeah. Brittany says she paid off her third and final credit card this week. Woohoo!
Ooh, good,
Credit
Brittany.
card's gone, Brittany. Seeing that zero balance is such a satisfying feeling. Now she's on to her line of credit. Jessie paid cash for a vet bill and still has money left over for the rest of the week. Great job, Jessie. Jordan upped the quick and dirty fund by $200, started selling chicken eggs for $3. Wait, what is all these people with chickens?
I don't know. Like, do we need to get chickens?
That's like 2 people today that have chickens inside
Yeah.
the get out of debt.
I feel like see a lot of people that are selling eggs. Like, are these chickens just roaming free in your backyards, people?
I think so. I think that's the way Carrie and I are very metropolitan. It's not even true. As it came out of my mouth, I'm like, the word I'm looking for is suburban.
Ah, definitely not metropolitan. Oy, oy, oy.
High heels walking down Madison. Anyway, whatever.
So they're chicken on a leash.
Jordan also didn't buy any energy drinks or coffees and normally would buy something 3 to 4 days a week. So we're celebrating you, Jordan. You know, if that's the method you've decided and you've stuck with it, you have lots to be proud of. Amazing. Catherine says, I'm celebrating something small. I decided on a whim today I wanted to go to the drive-in theater for something to do. I
Hmm.
thought about it some more and decided that since I didn't really love the movies that were playing and I was going just for something to do, that I would stay home and watch something on TV instead. Not as fun, but saves me $40. Those whims can be expensive, can't they?
Sure as heck can. I know that I give in to the whims way more often than I should.
It's so great, Catherine. We're really proud of you. Congratulations. I love this one from Kaylee. She says, I sat down with my husband to relook at the budget and started rewatching the videos, and I love them. They're different from my first time. So she must have hated them the first time, which is good feedback for me. But sometimes I think, I know this from the work that I do is that, I hear the same content over and over and over again, and sometimes it just slaps differently. You can hear the same person say the same thing, and it doesn't catch your ear. But depending on where I am in my life, sometimes it gets me, and I can really then go, wow, it's like you're hearing it with fresh ears. So maybe that's where you're at, Kaylee.
You also have so much information in those videos, like it's so much that maybe the first time you listen, you take this piece of advice and or this action item and go do it. And the next time you listen, something else is like, okay, now I can do this part. So there are lots of people that go back and rewatch and re-listen to the book, to the podcast, to the course, and pull out different information each time. And sometimes even those phase 3 people need a refresher. They just need a little kick in the pants to get going and up their goals too, even when you're in that phase.
That's a fun one because I think sometimes when you hit phase 3, you're learning how to manage money without credit. You've had a very intense goal, and so you're focused so clearly on paying off debt, paying off debt, paying off debt. And then you're like, okay, now what? Because you don't feel as urgent when you're building wealth, building wealth, building wealth, because there's no ceiling on it. And so what's cool about phase 3 people is sometimes they come back and they're like, oh yeah, she told me get an exchange trade fund, buy one long-term stock purchase. I gave them like a little list of things that I want them to do, and they did one or two of them. And then because they didn't have that same urgency, they took their foot off the gas a little bit. So it's a great way for them to go, oh, right, this is now where I'm at. This is what I'm working towards, and gives them some new inspiration.
We're very proud of all of you for doing the work, everybody. That really is the key. Well done. This is so cool. I get goosebumps anytime I see somebody, write in our group about all the awesome things that they're accomplishing. And it's an inspiration to me too. So please keep it up. Please keep doing it. And if you're not part of the Get the Hell Out of Debt program yet, come and join us and come see for yourself how awesome this community is.
I think it's really important to know if you're not in the group and you're listening, the message that we're trying to really hit home today is you need to celebrate your wins, even the tiny ones. I think sometimes people think I'm in debt, therefore I need to mentally punish myself. And I need to think about all the awful things that I've done or the horrible things that have happened to me to get me in this situation. But when you can start to change your day around by even at the end of every day going, what are the things that went well? What are the things I'm grateful for? That shifts your thinking out of lack thinking into abundance thinking. And so whether or not you're the type of person who knows how to celebrate yourself or not, be the type of person who stands on your feet and cheers other people on, because it's contagious and it's infectious, and it will start to help you progress to get you where you want to go.
Maybe though, don't be the person that cheers on someone that's in murders and acquisitions.